everyone, this is Yana Smakula for SimonsSystem.com, and today I'd like to invite you to stretch your dies and use them not only for die cutting but also for stamping. I love to use my dies to die cut fun foam and use those fun foam shapes to stamp images. This really helps you to stretch your dies and get more use out of them. I'll be using Simons springtime shaped dies to create a couple spring backgrounds for my cards today. I've picked a couple colors of fun foam from my stash, and I'll explain why I'm using multiple colors in a minute here. If you don't have multiple colors, you can use one color. It doesn't really matter that much. However, having multiple colors of fun foam makes things a little easier and makes your stamping go a little faster. I'll be cutting Easter eggs, bunnies, and carrots. The different colors of fun foam will coordinate with the color of ink I'll be using to do my stamping. Yellow will be used to stamp in duckling ink, blue to stamp in surf blue ink, orange to stamp in sunkissed, and so on. By all means, you can use one foam stamp and simply clean it in between the colors if you don't have a lot of fun foam. However, I have found that it's much easier and much faster to create several foam stamps and use different colors of fun foam to coordinate with the colors of ink I'm using. That makes stamping backgrounds much faster, and there is no need to clean the stamp each time when you switch between the colors. You can also cut several shapes out of one color and just keep track which one is used for which color of ink. But having those cut out of colored fun foam makes it easier as there's no need to keep track. I can just glance at the yellow stamp and know that it goes with the yellow ink. I'll be stamping quite a few backgrounds today, so I'm trying to make the process as simple as possible, and the extra time I spend on die cutting additional stamps is worth the time I'm saving while I'm stamping the backgrounds. So let's go ahead and die cut a few shapes out. I'm using a couple of shapes to die cut out of green fun foam, and one shape, the carrot, to cut out of orange. And these dies cut foam beautifully. I've never had a problem. So here are my first foam stamps nice and ready. I have an egg, a bunny, and the greenery for the carrot cut out of green fun foam. And I'll be stamping these using green ink, and also a carrot cut out of orange foam. I'll be stamping this image in orange ink. Now let's cut a few more shapes, using yellow foam this time and cutting the egg and the bunny. And I'm going to continue cutting shapes until I have enough for my background stamping today. It really doesn't take that much time, and if you compare the time you spend on cleaning your stamps versus cutting additional stamps out, cutting actually takes less time. In order to use these foam stamps, we need to mount them onto a clear block, and it's very easy to do. All you need is repositionable adhesive. I have repositionable adhesive from Scrapbook Adhesives here, and I always like to use it for things like this. I like to pick out the side that I'll be using for stamping. Usually it's the front side of the die cut. I don't like using the back as it has those lines from cutting plate, and those lines affect the stamping. Here's a background stamped with carrots where I used the other side for stamping, and you can tell that the carrot is not very smooth, but it works nicely for the carrot. It makes it more realistic. So once you've picked the side of your fun foam shape, go ahead and add repositionable adhesive to the back of it and stick it to your clear block. You can see it holds nicely and it doesn't come off. It is also very easy to remove the stamp from the block. The adhesive will remain on the block and it's easy to clean up. Just rub it with your finger or an adhesive eraser. So let's mount our stamps and begin stamping. I'm going to start by stamping an egg background, and I'll use 4 colors of ink: duckling, surf blue, twirling tutu, and jelly bean. Before stamping with a newly created foam stamp, I like to ink it up and do a few test impressions just to make sure I have enough ink and just to make sure the stamp is okay. And then I can start using it as I normally use stamps. So I'm going to stamp a background made up of colorful Easter eggs. Because I'm using 4 colors of ink, and because each ink color has its own designated stamp, I can actually stamp this much faster. I don't have to spend time cleaning my stamp between the colors, and that saves me a lot of time. Having color-coded stamps also helps. I don't have to keep track. I can just glance at the stamp and know what color of ink I need to ink it up with. You can also combine foam stamps with regular clear stamps. Here's a background where I replaced the large pink egg with a small one stamped using an image from the Melodies Easter set. I think it looks quite fun. You have two sizes of eggs, and that makes the background a little bit more unique. You can also diversify your solid shape stamping by using a stamp kissing technique. And you can use this with any kind of stamp, not just foam stamps. I have the pattern swatches stamp set from Simon here, and I'm going to use it to give my Easter eggs some texture. So I'm going to use the same colors of ink and the same stamps, but I'm going to kiss my foam stamps to these clear stamps to have patterns on each. So the trick is to ink up one of the stamps, usually the one that has the pattern on it, the non-solid stamp, then come in with a solid stamp and use it to pick up the ink from the stamp that has been inked. So kiss the stamp. What this will do is it will pick up the ink only from the sections where there is a pattern, and it will transfer the pattern onto the solid stamp, giving you a completely different impression. So here I have my Easter egg stamped in blue, but it also has a little bit of pattern to it. It's quite fun and easy to do. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same for green ink up my clear stamp from the pattern swatches set, press my green foam stamp on top, and pick up the ink and stamp it onto the background. Let's do this again with a yellow egg. And you instantly have an image with a pattern stamped onto it. Very cool, I think. So I'm going to keep stamping until I fill the entire background here. I'm keeping the pink egg solid and free from any patterns simply because I wanted one of the eggs to be solid here. And again, because my foam stamps are color-coded, I know which one goes with which color of ink, and that makes the stamping go much faster. I've made quite a few backgrounds today. Here's a look at them. I have all sorts of different ones, and I can tell you it was fun stamping these, and it didn't take a lot of time either. So I'm going to use all of these backgrounds and make a couple of fun spring cards. I'm going to use Simon's My Kind of Peep stamps and dies from the March 2016 card kit, and I'm going to stamp a bunch of peeps, cut them out, cover with glitter, and foam mount onto my cards. So I'm using Simon's Intense Black ink and stamping the outlines of the peeps. Next, using the same colors as I used before and adding colors to my images. So I'm using Twirling Tutu, Duckling, and Surf Blue. And I'm going to cut all of these out using a matching die and then add glitter. I have this chunky glitter from Doodlebug, and I'm using my glossy accents to adhere it. Pretty much any glitter works beautifully for this, but I like using this chunky sugar coating glitter the most. You can see I have a few peeps here coated using regular glitter. They all look fun and glittery. So I encourage you to use whatever glitter you like best. I happen to have this chunky glitter from Doodlebug, and I've had it for a long time, and it seems to work beautifully here. I'm using clear glitter as well as different colored glitters here. Now while the glitter on my die cut peeps was drying, I die cut a couple of stitched squares, and I'm going to foam mount them onto my stamped backgrounds, and will foam mount the peeps on top. I'm working in batches here, so first I stamped the backgrounds, then I stamped, die cut, and glittered my peeps, then I die cut the squares. Now I'm foam mounting all of these squares at once, and I'm also using grid lines of my cutting mat to make sure I have these centered. Lastly, I'm going to stamp the sentiments onto each of my panels, and I'm using a variety of different sentiments from My Kind of Peeps stamp set. And then I'm going to foam mount my bunnies and also adhere little die-cut bunny tails and finish making my cards. So that finished my project for today. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to click the thumbs up button if you like this video, and if you're new to this channel, be sure to subscribe. Thanks. See you next time. Bye!